Thank you very much for inviting me, and it's an honor to be here to participate in a conference on Theosis and icons. So I'm going to speak on two parallel things. I have some quotations from some ancient and modern writers, and I will develop a kind of an approach to this question of the relation between theology, theosophy, theophany, religion, and all of these concepts have to be formed around a concept of deity, which have some ideas about the nature of God or goddesses, or nature of human beings, and some ontological, cosmological, and also sociological and political perspectives. So eventually, in terms of the development of modern branches of knowledge or the teachings at every level of education systems, now the theology is one area of study. So the other area is religious studies. So when you have a certain question, they say, oh, it's something theological. And when you have other kind of question, it is supposedly it's a matter of, we have history of religion, comparative religion, religious education, philosophy of religion, sociology of religion, psychology of religion, and all the languages that is formed in a time where, at least we know from now, in between, from a sociological point of view, when the human beings first either settled around the life of the plants, so they can, raise their own food, and the other people are follow the animal life, so their birth and giving food for themselves, and we call them nomads. And later we thought, when people settled in certain larger areas, and so the first icon would be a temple, right? So people bring their deities, figures, symbols. So, but when you talk about icon in Christian context, you probably mean, for last 2 days, mostly about the objects of venerations in that tradition in general, either a statue, a picture, but we never think the language itself as an icon. You see, and the word as an icon. So we made the word theo as an icon itself. No, the probably they were, excavating the area for last 20 or more years, but about 10 years ago, they found out what is called Göbekli Tepe in Urfa province, southeast of Turkey, an area that no establishment, a city or village, and in the middle of hills, many statues in a special circular buildings and things like that. It is interpreted. By the way, the chief, the archaeologist was a German, I guess. And it is interpreted that the first temple is not established in city, but rather in the rural area where all the farmers or the nomads gather together for certain, seasons, and then pray together. So my contention is to show you the connection between history, development of languages and icon. Even I forgot to take the note, translate my notes into English, saying in my first picture here, I'm saying at the end, the Sumerian name for one of the gods is Dumuzi, and one of the goddesses is Inanna, and in Romanian language, as I hear from people speaking, Domnezai. There is a connection. But if we take these words as because of their historical root, authoritarian, if we take the first authoritarian interpretations of what that means and still hold on to this, then we are creating, what we call in, popular language, we are just, hitting our own legs. Now, I'm just going to quote you two things that why we are called, religious animal by Mark Twain. Now, we bring this criticism because of the attitude and the way we take, the language so lightly in that way and keep on to this. So that's why my intention to show that the why Imago Dei was a important legal principle that limiting the political authority to protect human life. But because of our religious and theological language, we let political authority just out of the theological, circle, and they are now doing everything, treating us like animals. That's why in the first temples, here you can see the god first, in the first picture I will show further, you see God crushes a lion. But what are our symbols for statehood? Everybody have either eagle or you see the lions. So our political powers already Imitatio Dei, representing imitation of deity. So let me first how this language created the critique of religion and theology. Mark Twain, in one of his writings called The Lowest Animals, or Lowest Animal, because it was published posthumously or later than I'm not a historian, okay, in that sense. 10 years after it was written, but he takes the Darwinian concept that, you know, we were fit for the struggle, and so he says it is quite contrary the other way around. We are not the highest animal because we are religious animals. What religious animals do, just quoting small things, because we try to kill each other, our brothers, you know, shed blood, and try to prevent them getting into the paradise. But that's why higher animals, we are religious animals. The human beings are religious animals, but the higher animals, not the, quite the contrary, what we call beasts, are higher animals, have no religion. But the religious language says, we are told, we are going to be left out of this living in the other world. I wonder why it seems a questionable test. Yeah, it is, we consider ourselves immortal, but the other animals mortal, but then why we are killing each other? If we believe we are immortal, if we believe we are in the image of, created in the image of God. Now I'm going to quote another from one of the first American slaves who educated and write something just within the Christian tradition, Frederick Douglass. He wrote this autobiography around 1850 something. Yeah. He says, in short, how accursed is that system which entombs the godlike mind of man, defaces, that's the key point, the divine image, reduces those who by creation were crowned with glory and honor to a level with low-footed beasts, and exalts the dealer in human flesh above all that is called God. You see, it means okay, one critique, again, without criticizing our language, one is criticizing Nietzsche. I believe Nietzsche, your point is here overlapping with mine, but I wouldn't call Suhraverdi a Platonist. He's a critic of Platon. So we will discuss afterwards. Why Nietzsche went to Zarathustra, here it is critique of Nietzsche instead of criticizing, because who declared God as, I mean, the God of Old Testament is there. Those who never test themselves or their actions against moral rules are busy testing God every day. But if we are going to criticize Nietzsche, we shouldn't, break those moral rules ourselves first. So his criticism is not to be taken over by the theologians. And we should turn ourselves, whether if we claim, dealing with the theology as it is defined in the dictionaries, or if we are taking in the sense that Plato uses, it is talk about or speak about God, or is it something believing God. That is two different things. So Nietzsche expressed his jealousy of Wagner, just reducing it to just a personal jealousy, for not being in his place, declaring that the jealous God of the Old Testament was dead, and Zarathustra wanted to take revenge, and he took the Zarathustra, or followed Zarathustra, by taking refuge in another God of conflict.